Tonight, on the eve of the by-election in Eastleigh, are Liberal Democrats speeding towards victory despite clocking up a host of negative headlines?
With a near full moon, Lib Dems tonight are quietly confident they will retain the seat. UKIP could also end up being the big story tomorrow.
Also tonight, thought the euro crisis was dead and buried. Well, with no clear winner in Italy's election, it's back on its feet. Paul Mason will have graphs and zombies. The second part of our interview with Tony Blair, 10 years after the Iraq invasion. He pushes for intervention in Syria and gives the UN Security Council short shrift.
There are things we could be doing to help change the balance of power in this struggle, and my anxiety is that we're about to learn again the lesson of the consequences of non-intervention.
And you may have thought you already knew this, but new research suggests there may be a direct link between sugar and diabetes. We hope you like your science sweet. Good evening. The trigger for the Eastleigh by-election may have been the unedifying spectacle of Chris Hoon pleading guilty to perverting the course of justice and getting his wife to take his speeding points. But it's been the allegations of sustained sexual harassment of women in the party made against its former chief executive, Lord Reynard, allegations he vehemently denies, but that have dominated the headlines in the last few days. An unhappy time for the Liberal Democrats in the run-up to tomorrow's vote. Can the party hold the seat despite it all? Our political editor, Allegra Stratton, has been chasing around in Eastleigh on a frenetic last day of campaigning.
Not the Wild West, but Wild Eastleigh.
Hello gents, how you doing? You okay?
The hoopla unfurling down the length of this high street is for the election of a new MP, all right, but it's a yardstick too of how the three parties may fare in the big one, the 2015 general election. The Conservatives are on the hunt for votes. It's tea time in a truck depot. Since the allegations about Lord Reynard emerged, the race has got tighter and the Tories have got busier. Lib Dem sources report an influx of Conservatives through this area as they sense a vulnerability on the part of the Lib Dems. But behind both of them, UKIP is rising up fast.
Labour gets stuck on it.
The Tories need to grab places like Eastleigh off the Lib Dems, but the votes of a few truckers wouldn't go amiss. Thatcher won the blue-collar vote in 1979, Blair in 1997, but Cameron hasn't yet persuaded them.
Well, we're playing to win. And we're playing to win.
Nice.
Well, we're playing to win. We want to win this by-election. It's a very important by-election. And I've learned for a long time, ever since the BBC told me I'd lost my by-election and the electorate said I'd won it, not to take elections for granted.
Hello. This is Douglas Alexander, Shadow Foreign Secretary. Don't want TV cameras.
Labour came second here in the 1994 by-election, but it's fighting not to be pushed into fourth place by UKIP. Can you change your mind? Does he help you make a decision?
You have the other candidates.
Labour gambled on a celebrity candidate, but was he the right celebrity for Eastleigh?
Do you know what John's day job is?
A writer.
Oh, there you are.
The party came second here in the 1994 by-election, but is fighting not to be pushed into fourth by UKIP.
But we're the opposition and we want to become the government. Part of that strategy is showing that we are determined to work not just in one part of the country where we've been winning by-elections, but in every part of the country.
This is the area we've got to go to.
UKIP think they could do well, possibly come first, maybe beat the Tories to second. Nigel Farage looks like he's doing the crossword here, but he's actually analysing polling figures. They've put immigration front and centre.
Right from the very start, we have said that we're the party that believes in a sensible, controlled approach to immigration. Like Australia, we want good migrants to come to Britain. We do not want foreign criminal gangs coming to Britain. And I'm afraid, whichever way you look at it, Romania and Bulgaria are countries that are plagued with crime. And we do not want some of those people to have open access to this country.
So what have students made of this by-election? How might they vote?
Tories.
Why?
Because I think they're just going to get us out of debt and make this country back on the economic climate.
Definitely vote Liberal Democrat.
Why?
Mainly because I think they've done a lot for Eastleigh in the past 20 years. I mean, obviously there's everything that's gone on with Chris Hoon and stuff, but then you can't deny the fact that they have improved this area quite vastly.
Why does UKIP look like it's doing so well?
I'm surprised that UKIP's doing quite well.
I think it's because on their posters it says, done it like everyone else is the same, but we're different. And lots of people who I've spoken to have said, like, we just want someone who's going to actually do something, but they don't care actually what they're going to do.
Over to the defenders of this seat, the Liberal Democrats.
Allegra Stratton, you know very well that I'm a decent, honourable team player, and I do what the thought police tell me to do. So I'm going to go round the corner. I'm going to go round the corner and do some canvassing.
You can only see 10 activists now, but actually around the constituency there's some hundreds. The Lib Dems think that if they can hold tight to Eastleigh, then they'll hold tight to their general election strategy for 2015. That is until the Renaud allegations. Does your party have a problem with women?
My answer to that is straightforward and no, but look, Allegra, what you're trying to do, well, that's an issue for the inquiry. We have a national record, we have a local record to stand on. I think that stands us in very good stead for Thursday. We're not complacent, we're not taking it for granted. We've got an outstanding candidate. What implications there are from that for the general election is an interesting discussion to have. But it's one for us to have at another point, at another time.
These people are past their sell-by date. They must not be voted into power to wreak further havoc on this constituency.
Tonight, the Lib Dems are quietly confident they have done enough. UKIP could also do surprisingly well, and this would leave the two larger of Britain's political parties, the Tories and Labour, to do the soul-searching.
If the Pope joins the Wessex regionalists,
then you'll join them. There we are. He's going to join us. Make it sooner rather than later.
But the greatest prize may be to the people of Eastleigh. Peace, at last.
And here is a list of all the candidates standing in the Eastleigh by-election tomorrow, all 14 of them. And we can talk to Allegra in Eastleigh now. Allegra, I mean, how high stakes is this for all the parties? The Liberal Democrats must be desperate for it to be over.
Yeah, they wanted it to be a 3-week by-election because they knew they could do a sprint, but they probably couldn't do a marathon. And tomorrow, we think they probably will fall over the finishing line, keeping this seat. I mean, they've been pouring every resource they can into it, so much so that last week, when it was half-term, they poured lots of students down. Lord Renaud hasn't really, the allegations against him, haven't really played with voters. I would struggle to tell you that one had mentioned it to me today, and we've been around a lot. The way it has played is that you have the other parties scenting blood, and so sending more of their people down that they might otherwise have done, thinking that possibly there might be some vulnerability there. And I think if it had gone on longer than it has done, they may have been right. I mean, one very senior Liberal Democrat let it be known today that if it was one more week to this by-election, they think that UKIP would pip it.
Now, of course, by-elections are famously about local issues, but, you know, on that basis, the Tories and Labour must really be kicking themselves for not having done a lot of the groundwork earlier.
Well, I mean, you saw in our package Nigel Farage just totting up some numbers, because he really believes that the polling companies have underestimated them, and he showed us all his little biro numbers, and actually he thinks that they could come in at sort of 27.5 points, which would actually give the Tories a massive headache. People I've spoken to in the Conservative Party today agree with him that it is looking like it could be close between themselves and UKIP for that prized second position. And the problem would then be David Cameron bet a lot on a huge speech about Europe, a Europe speech that was supposed to stem a lot of this anger, and it would become apparent this time tomorrow, or maybe in 2 days, that that hadn't worked. Equally for Labour, you saw in our package Douglas Alexander saying, far from this being the Labour's 258th target seat, i.e. very low down on their list, it is the case that this kind of place matters to Ed Miliband's One Nation Labour Party. So again, we'll be looking to see how well they do. If they come fourth, it isn't great for them.
Allegra, thank you very much. In a moment, the economic nightmare born of Italy's political uncertainty, and part 2 of our interview with Tony Blair 10 years